he wouldn't make it. So it kind of seems like, well, so if someone joins and they fall back, they won't make it. But someone that doesn't even believe at all is gonna make it. It kind of seems like you have a better chance of not following it now. And then,
as if you want to work around the system, like they say in politics.
you have like 100% chance of making it.
Well, the same thing, and that's why you see when it comes to these things, we just leave it up to Jehovah. Leave it up to Jehovah, and just worry about ourselves. See, because
hello, welcome to Truth Prevails. As you guys watch this video, I want you to see how the Jehovah Witnesses flip-flop. First is, we're going to flip-flop on who sees Jesus. Then it's, okay, he's going to come back in a different manner, even though it doesn't make sense. And the Jehovah Witnesses claim to have unity with the scriptures and the teachings because it should come from the Watchtower and jw.org. But I have been noticing that a lot of witnesses are kind of going rogue, and they're trying to understand the scriptures on their own and not going to the Watchtower's teaching. And why do I say this? Is because I do have another video on the same topic of Acts 1 with an elder, and he gives me a different interpretation. We'll be going over that on Saturday on a live show. But it crumbles the unity that you can go to a Jehovah's Witness here or go there, and they should have the same understanding and the same understanding for each verse in his teaching. If you're a Jehovah's Witness, really test, did Jesus really raise invisibly? Did he come back? Because if it doesn't, that destroys 1914, and the scriptures don't support it. In any verse, if you have a verse, you're a witness, drop a verse in the comment section that you believe proves that he came back in 1914 invisibly, when the scriptures tell us he came back. He didn't come back yet, but he's coming back. Anybody. So God bless, like, comment, and share, and I'll see you guys Saturday. Because you said it was only for the apostles at that time, that statement. And if the apostles are dead, how can they see him come back in a body if they're not going to be raised until he comes back?
So concerning that, because I didn't want to get sidetracked, let me get back to this Acts one. So I'll go ahead and you'll go ahead and get that one on me.
I learned from Peter one time, never deny, tempted to catch amnesia sometimes, never deny, even when my faith will come a cry, I'll never deny, when I confess I put my neck on the line,
You said, where does this presence come in invisible?
Yeah, when does the Bible even teach that? Where does Jesus himself teach that I'm going to come invisible?
When I think you're talking about the end of Acts, the beginning of Acts, where Jesus gets ascended to heaven. Who all saw Jesus leave to go to heaven?
Well, it's right here. It says in verse 9 in Acts 1, it says, when he said these things, they were looking on, he was lifted up, and a cloud took him out of their sight. And while they were gazing into heaven as he went, behold, two men stood by them in white robes. And he said, men of Galilee, why do you stand looking into heaven? This Jesus, who was taken up from you into heaven, will come in the same way as you see him go into heaven. But Jesus, and this is why I will have to stick on scripture with this, because Jesus left in a body. So if Jesus left in a body, the angels are telling us that he's going to come back in a body.
So who all saw him? What does the scripture say?
Who's here? The apostles are there.
Exactly. Does it say people in Rome, people in what wasn't the United States yet saw him go up? Does it say that what we didn't know, if it was named China at the time, saw him go up into heaven?
Well, that's why I'm asking you, where does the Bible say he's going to come back invisibly? Because it doesn't say that. It actually says he's going to come back in the body. And he says it himself. Other Peter says it. All these people say it. When he comes, everyone's going to know that he came. No one's going to say, well, I didn't see him today. He's here? No, that's not going to happen. He's going to come, and you're going to know he's going to come. And this is even saying it. That's what I'm trying to say. If I should believe that he came invisibly, where does the Bible say it? Because if just the governing body saying it, and we know that they're not, you can't really trust their word. You kind of have to take it with a grain of salt. Can you convince me?
But
why
actually, but actually, you're right. You answered your own question, because when he left, only his people saw him. So when it here is talking about his presence, only his disciples would see his presence. Now coming is execution. But you answered your own question. It doesn't say people in China saw him going. It doesn't say people in what was not the United States yet. It did not say they saw him. There's no document saying, hey, they saw him going into heaven. So you're really answering your own question.
So if the apostles are dead, how can they see him come back in a body?
Well, there you go.
What do you mean?
There you go. Because it goes on to say, back in John 13.
No. But this is he's talking. Like in here, he's saying he's talking. But if I try to use that standard, then it doesn't hold weight. Because if the angels are talking to them, he would have came back before they died.
So his followers, yeah, they had responsibilities, apostles, disciples, but his followers saw him leave.
So you said his followers. Was it the apostles or the followers?
It was everybody. It was everybody that was.
You just switched it. Proverbs. First, you just said it was the apostles here.
No.
The apostles, and it was the only apostle was him coming back in the body. That doesn't make sense.
Okay, lawyer. Okay, all right.
But do you see?
So all who saw him, yeah, they were apostles.
I can't hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So it was just apostles; it was his followers.
Okay. Now where you see that in that passage?
Okay. Were any of those women that saw him go up?
No, it says men. It says men of Galilee. Why do you stand looking into heaven?
Let me go to the scripture.
In verse 4, it kind of tells you.
To these by many delivered out, he was leading them. Do not try yourself, baptize. No, they had a symbol. They were asking the Lord, restore the kingdom. Said to them, it's not from Jesus was received from the sky. Yeah, it does say men of Galilee, but if you go ahead and read 14.
And it says all these are one accord but that's going to something else. That's like in verse 12, they return to Jerusalem, so it's a whole different account. You read verse 12, that's a whole different day.
But yeah, it did say men of Galilee.
So that's why I'm confused. If the Bible doesn't talk about him coming back invisibly, it's just the governing body saying this. They can't be trusted. How can you be 100% stand on 100% that he even came back in 1914? Because that really can't be proven explicitly from scripture.
So,
you see where I'm coming from now?
No. You did have another question which I could have answered. Because so you said how could the disciples? Your first question was, how did the disciples, how could they be alive? Isn't that what you said? How could they still be alive during this time?
Because you said it was only for the apostles at that time, that statement. And if the apostles are dead, how can they see him come back in a body if they're not going to be raised until he comes back?
So concerning that, because I didn't want to get sidetracked, let me get back to this Acts one. So I'll go ahead and you'll go ahead and get that one on me.
But that like, I'm confused, and it's just like,
well, hold on, let me unconfuse you. Hold on.
Let me
unconfuse you and confuse you some more. So in going back to John 13:35.
Mm-hmm.
So you said, how could they still be alive? How could they? Well, Jesus went on to go on and say, by this all will know that you are my disciples, if you have love amongst yourself. So when Jesus was saying this, he said, hey, if you have love amongst yourself, you will be my disciples. That's how people will recognize you. And so that's why it can continue to today. That's why.
No, but that wasn't.
You didn't have to be the same person. He said, if you have love amongst yourselves.
No. It says in verse 11, Acts 1, verse 11, it says, Men of Galilee, why do you stand looking into heaven? This Jesus who was taken up from you into heaven will come in the same way. That's a key thing. The same way as you see him go into heaven. We saw him go into heaven with a body, so he's going to come the same way out of a body. That is not what the Watchtower teaches, and then it also disagrees that he came back invisibly, because it's telling you the next time Jesus comes, he's going to come back in a body. That's not that. Then that kind of contradicts 1914, and that also creates a problem because we don't have enough scripture back into even really truly believe 1914 happened without kind of questioning, because it's coming from men that have been wrong about things. Every year they have something that's wrong since 1914, and even before that. So that's why I'm kind of confused, because I can't take that and accept that. That's what I'm saying. Like, how can you take that without doubts and questions? Because it's not from scripture.
Hello?
Yep.
Hey, for about 20 seconds, the thing froze up and you were coming in and out.
All right, I got another question for you.
But I do get your gist. So going back to the same way, going back to Acts chapter 1 and Jesus was received in the same manner. So that word manner, it's not the same as the Greek word morphe, in the same form, morphe. That Greek word manner is tropos. But it's not, you're trying to say he's going to come in the same body. That's not what the scripture is saying. He's going to come in the same body. He's not coming in the same morphe. He's coming in the same tropos, manner. And so his followers saw him leave. And like I said, China didn't see him. It doesn't say Russia didn't see him. It was before it was called Russia. It doesn't say, there's no document that all these other countries saw him. Only his followers.
Yeah, but he left in a body. He didn't leave invisibly.
Yeah, and so
when they said he left,
so going back to 24, it's talking about his presence. His presence.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's not in scripture. But
it's in Matthew 24.